So this is one of my favorite Grimm's fairy tale stories, how some children played at slaughtering. It was in the first edition of Grimm's Fairy Tales. It was a set of two short, rather gruesome anecdotes. It was removed from the book in the second edition, and it's missing from most modern editions as well. I like the idea of Grimm's Fairy Tales being that they are grim and there's some really fucked up shit that's happened in them, but it comes out of the German Black Forest, the time of the peasants. You know, this is only 400 or 500 years ago. So these are the stories with morals to, you know, essentially just watch your back, watch out of this shit's crazy fucking world. And I like this especially because it makes you think. So how some children played at slaughtering, what's going to happen is the kids are going to play slaughtering a pig, the kid's going to play the pig, and they're going to kill the kid. And so what that makes me think about is essentially when you're playing, that which you're pretending, it's also real too, right? You might be pretending it's a pig, but if you pull out a knife and you actually slaughter that pig, you didn't slaughter a pig, you slaughtered a human. And now the conundrum is, should that kid be put to death? Should they have to suffer the consequences of murdering another person? And the interesting way that they solve this, essentially, I guess I'll read this afterwards, is they offer the kid, do you want an apple or do you want a gold coin? And if he wants an apple, that means he's still innocent. If he wants a gold coin, then that means he's mature and greedy and, you know, can think about the power of money. So an apple, a kid would see immediate enjoyment of eating an apple, but a gold coin, you'd have to. So it's kind of just determining his maturity level and perhaps maybe even his, you know, whatever. So there's part one, then there's part two, and then part two is, let me just read them. They're short enough to just be read straight across. So, okay, without further ado, how some children played at slaughtering. In German, it's, Why Kinder slaughtern, Sie marxierten Skizkenrappen. Part 1. In a city named Franeker, located in West Friesland, a group of young children, around 5 or 6 years of age, once played at being a butcher, a cook, a cook's assistant, etc., but they killed the child who played the pig. The child who played the butcher was arrested, charged for murder. The town council, which is also functioned as a court, never having had such a case before, was unsure whether to punish such a young child. An old wise counselor finally came up with a special method to decide if the child was guilty or not. He brought a ripe, appetizing apple and a high-value gold coin, took one in each hand, and let the child choose one of them. If the butcher chose the apple, presumably proves that the child still had a completely naive mind, then he's innocent and would be free to go. If he chose the gold coin, presumably proving that a more abstract understanding of values had already developed in the child was guilty, would be hanged for murder. The butcher, the child, picked the apple without hesitation. Without any hesitation. Because he's probably like, he probably knew what they were testing for, like, oh my God, if I just go for gold, I mean, that makes it look like I'm greedy, but an apple, that's so, you know, that's like, oh, you know, he likes apples. How sweet and innocent. So, that had an interesting and tragic, why is it in Franeker in West Friesland? I wonder if this actually happened in Franeker, West Friesland. So, fucked up, they killed the pig, and then weird, the trial, and then what do you do? Like, God, they were playing, right? One thing got out of control. If they didn't know, then that sucks. But if they did know, like Louis C.K. with that Down syndrome woman. So part 2. One day, two brothers saw their father killing off a pig. They imitated what they saw, and the older brother killed his younger brother. Their mother, who was giving the baby a bath, heard her child scream and abandoned the baby in the bath. When she saw what her eldest child had done, she took the knife out of her younger son's throat and in her rage stabbed the older son in the heart. When the mother found out that meanwhile the baby had drowned in the tub, she felt an inconsolable desperation and committed suicide by hanging herself. After a long day of work in the field, the father came home, finding out that his whole family was dead. He too also died from sadness. The end. So the first recension is copied out of an old book in the Berliner something. Second is found Martin Zieler's Miskill. So there you go. How some children played at slaughtering. The story, makes you think. If you're playing, it could turn into reality. So be careful. And interesting about whether or not, to test a kid if they're of sound mind, of mature mind, adult mind, between the apple and the gold coin. And then the last one, this is actually, I laughed at the end, but it's a perfect story. I hope this actually never happened to anybody. But essentially, the father kills a pig, and then the two brothers saw the father do this while the father's away. The one pulls a Cain and Abel kind of bullshit, kind of some Confederate Union brother versus brother out of Kentucky bullshit. And Cain and Abel, whatever, they killed, right? The older killed the younger. So it's like Cain and Abel. And the mother abandons the baby to go kill the older child, the older boy. The baby drowns. She commits suicide. And then he kind of just, what the fuck? He comes back home. It's not funny. I can't think of anything more tragic. Like you walked away and you came home and everybody's dead. It's not funny. But it's a perfect story. Because, this is plausible. This could very much have happened. And that would be, he died from sadness, which, that shit happens too. So essentially, everybody fucking died because of what the older brother did. But again, how some children played at slaughtering. So was the oldest brother, was he actually guilty? Was he actually, of sound mind? And if he was, the mother just hears the scream of the youngest son and just runs away from the kid in the bathtub. Hold on, kid in the bathtub. I need to go kill my other kid. And immediately, right, judges is the judge, jury, and executioner right there at the scene. Wait a second. Little Tommy, you killed little Billy? Well, little Billy? Well, just pull this little knife out of here. It's just. So, in her rage, she gets a temporary insanity plea, a possible temporary insanity plea. In her rage induces, she gets justice. So I don't hate her for that. It goes against your mother instincts, but your survival instincts, and then it's, what a horrible, I guess, if you assume the older brother was of a sound mind, what an atrocious, evil fucking thing to do to somebody else. If you knew what was going on, you're practicing Let's Play Slaughter the Pig, and then you actually stabbed, what the hell are you doing? You didn't understand the difference between real life and play? Did play just get so out of hand, you didn't really know what was happening? Or did you enact your, most deepest subconscious ideas out on your damn brother, you son of a bitch? And then her committing suicide, in fact, she might be the most just woman in this because she neglected the baby, which there's a lesson there, right? It's kind of a utilitarian approach. You got the trolley and there's two tracks. It could run over anyone. Who do you spare? So she heard the youngest son, and maybe she thought she could have saved him, but turned out, everybody dies. So maybe she did stay with the baby and take the baby out of the tub and make sure the baby was in a safe spot. She would have seen what had happened and still could have taken care of the situation. She didn't know, like, I forgive her and all, but she could have done it a lot differently. Had she taken the baby out of the tub, the baby would still be alive. She'd go see the thing. Maybe she'd be in a calmer mood. Maybe she'd still be frantic, still stabs the older brother in the chest and kills him. And either way, that's, Sophie's choice. That's a thing, which is the good son. Which one do you choose? So Sophie's choice. So it's a hard choice, but whatever. Let's assume she kills the oldest son, and after she kills the oldest son, the baby's still alive, so she doesn't need to commit suicide. And then the father comes home to baby, mother, 2 dead boys. So there could have been a silver lining had she taken a breath, not ran to the sounds of her youngest son's cries. So, how some children played at slaughtering, and even in modern editions. They don't even have this in modern editions, and I think that this story is, we can glean a lot. What a good lesson for kids. You go around shooting like guns. Do you shoot at the people you don't really like? Are you thinking and visualizing this, what you want done to bad people, with the people that you've determined to be? I don't know if that's a good way to learn how to play, going around shooting people. Papa, I shot you. No, you're dead. I shot you in the head. No, I blocked it with my shield, and then I, stabbed you in the spleen and ripped it out and ate it. Like, what the fuck are you all? That's not play. That's what, you guys are fucked up in the head. So, yeah. It's a good lesson for kids. It's a grim, perfect grim fairy tale, and it should be in the edition. So this is actually off of Wikipedia. And it's one of the most, lingering grim fairy tales that sort of, it stays with me. What a fucking story. Anyways, let's not play Slaughter, right? It makes me think one more last thing. Slaughter the Pig. That makes me think of Tolstoy. I think it's Tolstoy. Who gives a shit? It's a great fucking quote, and I like the symmetry of it. It says, as long as there are slaughterhouses, then there will be battlefields. As long as we have slaughterhouses, there will always be battlefields. As long as we're going to kill one part of our species of animal living people on the planet to eat, one's inferior for the superior to eat, then there will always be battlefield war, and humans will kill each other. As long as we justify speciesism, then war and mass murder of human beings will continue to take place in the name of war. So, slaughterhouses, why is killing the pig acceptable? And then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my God, you killed a human. I do think humans are more important than animals, but I struggle with it. I struggle with it. If I could get my protein, if I could feel like I was filled up, I think I could give up meat. But still, what are you going to do with all the animals? Just let them keep on populating and shitting all over the place. You got to do something with them. If we're not eating them, I guess we have like a pet in the zoo. I guess we could figure out some things to do with some of them. But the pig, they killed a pig in front of these kids. That seems traumatic. These kids saw a slaughter, an animal. I remember actually when I was younger, it was important for my parents to show me a pig being slaughtered. They shot it in its head, and it squealed in pain. And then they dragged it out, put a chain tractor, hung it up, sliced it down the middle, all the guts and shit splattered on the ground. And that was the end of the show. I was going, okay, fun, good times, great country, B105. And that was pretty traumatic. Like, what the fuck? Why? What? How come? Alright. I guess that's the direction we're going here. We're going to have a big festival, big carnival. Look, we're going to kill the animals. I remember one of the dogs chasing the pigs when they were going to take it to the slaughterhouse, when they were taking it to the market. The dog had grew up, it was put out in the barn, and it had grown up with the pigs, and when the pigs were being taken out to the market, the dog chased it. That stuck with me. The dog's love for pigs. Where are you taking my friends? Because we drove off the thing without the dog following us. But it never ran all the way out to the thing. It kept on going. Why? Where are you going? Where's this? Wait a second. These are my friends. I don't understand. It's real sad. If you think about it, it should make you, so, it's all fucked up. But you have 5 or 6-year-old kids in Franeker and West Friesland, and then you got 2 brothers who saw the father kill a pig. So if the father hadn't been murdering in front of his boys, perhaps his whole family and him would still be alive. So, what did you think? Was that a good presentation? I think it was fucking perfect. I think I nailed that shit. How some children played at slaughtering. John Masters, 1:18 a.m. in the morning, January 18th, 2018, Pueblo City, Pueblo County, Colorado, USA, Earth, Solar System, Universe, Milky Way, Universe. Ha ha!